There have been two high-profile officer-involved shootings over the past few weeks. One left an elderly hostage injured. Another, as we talked about today, took the life of Officer Jimmy In. Both cases began with a domestic dispute, and in both cases, the suspects should have been behind bars, but were released early.
Tonight, CBS13 investigative reporter Julie Watts is getting answers about the state law that allows most convicts out early.
An elderly victim with a walker used as a human shield in San Andreas. The suspect, Mark Lavia, had a 14-page criminal history and was supposed to be in prison that night, but he'd been released early.
We need more units to help clear the house.
Just days later, Officer Jimmy In was gunned down. The suspect, Lance Lowe, had also been released early.
Is it fair to say that both of these suspects should have been in jail?
It's absolutely fair. The individual that murdered Officer In Stockton was sentenced to 5 years in prison in 2018. He was released in April of 2020.
Placer County DA Morgan Geyer says most people don't realize most inmates will never serve their full sentence.
It's usually half, if not a third less.
He explains under existing law, most inmates get credit for time served while awaiting trial and then are entitled to good conduct credits from the Department of Corrections.
As long as you are awake and breathing and not getting into trouble by assaulting other inmates, you are entitled to that good time credit.
He notes a new emergency regulation quietly passed by CDCR last month increases those credits and shortens sentences even more, reducing sentences for violent offenders now by 1/3 and cutting sentences for serious and nonviolent crimes in half.
In simple terms, it speeds up the time that someone convicted of a violent or serious offense will get out.
People like Mark Lavia and Lance Lowe, whose victims' lives are forever changed.
42 of California's DAs are now petitioning to repeal CDCR's emergency regulation, which increases good behavior credit. CDCR says the reduced sentences are necessary to comply with the governor's budget.